Jesus Christ. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Allie. If you're new here, hello. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. You've done the best thing you could do this week, so do nothing for the rest of the week. You deserve it. So today's video, I'm going to cover a maybe sticky topic, love triangles in books. I think we're all aware that a true love triangle is when there's three different people. One person's in love with second person's in love with third person's in love with person one. It's a triangle. But I think myself and others have noticed that in books that are considered love triangles, it's just 2 and 3 in love with one. There's not the third connection, so it's just like a love point. It's a point. It's not a, there's no this. It's just this. It's a love point. So I figured I would give you my favorite love point recommendations that are labeled as a triangle. Because there are some that annoy me and make me mad, and there are some that I like. It depends on how it's written. So I figured I would show you my favorite love triangle, more like love point books. So starting off with a book that right now is very popular, Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. So this is a summer romance coming of age, and our main character, Belly, has had a longtime crush on these two brothers. Conrad and Jeremiah. She's had a long-time childhood crush on Conrad, but as the series goes on, she develops feelings for Jeremiah, and it turns into a back and forth, which brother is she going to end up with. This recently became a TV series. The first season is the first book, and then the second season will be the second book, and if they get approved for a third season, it will be the last book. Definitely super popular, and I definitely recommend this series. I will say that I almost like the TV show better because of the way they aged the stories, because this series was written in like 2009, and the way that they matured it for the TV show, I almost like the TV show a little bit better, but I still recommend the books and I still think they're great. So if you have not checked them out yet, you definitely should. And following up right with it is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which was the big thing like last year with the 3 movies that came out. This is also a bit of a love triangle, but actually a point, because this follows our main character, Laura Jean. She is a hopeless romantic and has a habit of writing letters to boys that she has crushes on, but she writes them in more of a sense of a goodbye, like this is how she gets over crushes. And all of these letters find their way into the mail. One gets sent to her neighbor Josh, who was dating her older sister, so she doesn't want Josh to know that she had feelings for him, because she doesn't want to make her sister upset and all that. So she ends up fake dating another boy that got a letter, because they were like, hey, if you date me, you know, it'll make Josh think that you don't like him, even though she does. And he's like, I broke up with my girlfriend, this will make my girlfriend jealous, but they secretly like each other. I personally have always liked Summer I Turned Pretty more, but this series is still very good, and if you have not checked it out, you can. And all 3 movies are out, so you can watch the movies too if you have not. So then we have It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. This is one of my favorite Colleen Hoover books, and it's very hyped up. I personally think the hype is worth it. This is a love triangle in the sense that our main character, Lily, she had this homeless boy in her neighborhood named Atlas that she kind of befriended growing up, and when they became adults they kind of went their separate ways and never really saw each other again. And she has a new boyfriend as she's an adult. While she's dating her boyfriend, she runs into Atlas again and kind of brings up these old feelings. So she is dealing with her boyfriend that she's in a relationship with and these old feelings that have been dug up from seeing Atlas again, and kind of figuring out what is best for her. The second book is coming out next year, I think in October, and I'm very excited for it and have already pre-ordered it and will definitely be reading it. Please check trigger warnings for it if you do want to read this, because it's not just a happy little love triangle. Most Colleen Hoover books are not happy little romances. There's always some sort of trauma-filled situation, and this one definitely has it. So if you are interested in reading it and haven't yet, please check your trigger warnings, but it does have our love triangle book point situation going on. And then finally, for like the romance area, is Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. I read this book a couple months ago. It's not necessarily my favorite. Out of these 4 romance books, this would be the one that I would recommend to you least. It wasn't my favorite storyline, but it is a love triangle thing that fits in with this video. So our main character, Mac, is going to college with her high school sweetheart boyfriend that she kind of has like this whole life plan with. And she meets this town boy, Connor. She like befriends him while she's dating her boyfriend, and they text each other all the time, and she's slowly starting to develop feelings for him while she's still with her boyfriend. And it's figuring out if her high school sweetheart with the life plan is what's best for her, or if it's time for her to start a new chapter in her life with somebody like Connor, who makes her feel so much different than the relationship that she's in. But yeah, like I said, not necessarily my favorite book out of this, especially with the author. If it sounds interesting to you, yeah. So then my last 4 are more in the fantasy genre, but still have the love point situation going on. The first one is Shatter Me. I am almost done reading the series. I have 2 books left in it, and I've read all the novellas in between. This is a dystopian series as well, but this follows Juliet. She is in an insane asylum and gets broken out because she has like powers. It's very like X-Men in a way, and she is taken in to be used as like a weapon, but also to do like scientific tests on her and just like figure out what's up, where she meets Aaron, who is a commander in one of the armies, and she does not like him. She has feelings for this boy Adam, who is the one that broke her out of her prison-y thing and has kind of become her friend. They start dating, and then Aaron kind of makes his presence known again, and she starts having feelings for him. So again, it's her deciding which person is best for her. She should stay with the person that she's in. This is a little bit back and forth from time to time, but not so much that it annoys me. So I do recommend the series. It's definitely YA. If I had read this series when I was in middle school, I would have lived, laughed, loved for this series. It would have been my favorite thing on the planet. Reading it now in my 20s, I still enjoy it, but I don't think that I would consider this like a 5-star series for me right now, but it would have been previously. But if you are a big YA person and you want a YA dystopian that you haven't read yet, I definitely suggest this series. So then we have White Hot Kiss by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is another series. It is 3 books. It is White Hot Kiss, Stone Cold Touch, and Every Last Breath. This is one of my favorite YA series to ever be in existence. This author also wrote the From Blood and Ash series. This series is superior in every way. I am not the biggest fan of From Blood and Ash. I've read the first 3 books and I have no interest in reading the 4th one. I probably never will, but I love this series. This is a series I would kill myself to read again. I adore it. If you have not read it yet, it's so good. This is like an Angels and Demons type series. This follows our main character, Layla. She is half demon, half angel, so she kind of works both sides, but she's been raised like the angel ideals. So she hunts demons and kills them. She has had a longtime crush on this boy, Zane, that she lives with the family that raised her, but it's kind of a he doesn't see me this way, he'll never love me type situation. And then she meets Roth, who is one of these princes of hell, and it's definitely an enemies to lovers thing with him. She's caught in the middle of a love interest on both sides and figuring out which side of this world she belongs on and which of these boys is best for her. This again goes back and forth a few times. I think that it's done well and it does not annoy me. If you have not read this series, I highly suggest it. It's one of my favorites. It has some light spice, not a lot, but it definitely has some light spice in there. Roth is one of my favorite characters ever. If you're a fan of Kingdom of the Wicked, like that series, you will adore this series. I love it so much. Please read it. Thank you. Bye. So then a series that I've talked about a ton is Zodiac Academy. I also adore this series with my whole heart. I can't get enough of it. But this follows 2 twins who are Fae, don't know it, get taken back to the Fae world, who kind of like basically go through Fae school. It's like Harry Potter but for fairies. And our love triangle is with Tori, she meets this boy Caleb. They kind of become a friends with benefits situation. I don't think that they ever actually like put a label on it and date. Then she ends up becoming star-crossed mates basically with another boy, but it's a boy that she doesn't necessarily like or think that she could ever be with. So it's back and forth between Caleb and Darius and figuring out which boy is the right one for her. But there's a ton of other romance in this. There's age gap, there's forbidden, there's enemies to lovers, there's friends to lovers. This has LGBTQ romance and representation in it. It's an amazing series. If you love Avatar: Last Airbender, if you like Harry Potter, if you like Twilight, I think you'll be a big fan of this series. If you have not checked it out, I highly, highly suggest it. It's one of my favorites. It's a big series. I think there's 8 books out right now. There's 7 books out and 8th one is coming. I believe the 8th book is the last, and there's 3 or 4 novellas. So it is a big series. It's a big commitment, but I highly, highly suggest it. I love it so much. And then finally, we have the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. So this is another falling in love with brothers situation. This is another kind of dystopian series. Our main character is Mare. She is born into like the lower class of their society. Their society's split in half between red bloods and silver bloods. Red bloods are just normal people. Silver bloods have some sort of magical power to themselves. And Mare is red blood. She gets a job working at the palace and finds out through an accident that she has powers, but she's a red blood. So everybody in the palace and the silver blood community are like, crap, we have to kind of hide this or else the red bloods might rebel, because what if they all think they have powers now? It's a sticky situation. So they kind of just pluck Mare up and put her in the castle and make her pretend she's a silver blood to cover everything up. And in the palace is the brothers Cal and Maven. She first meets Cal. He is the one who gets her the job at the palace. Again with the cars. This is all we had like last video. Jesus Christ. But she first meets Cal and has built kind of a friendship with him, but their dynamic kind of changes when she goes to the palace and she doesn't really understand it. She doesn't think that he likes her anymore, and she has a closer relationship with Maven and they kind of become a thing. But something happens and she finds herself stuck in a situation with Callaghan, and it's very back and forth. Some of these are like, we're broken up and then I fall in love with somebody else. This one is definitely both boys at the same time, but still, you know, technically a love point and not a love triangle. But this is a 4-book series. I would say overall this series is like a 3.5 star for me. I feel like out of all these books, this is the only series that the love triangle situation annoyed me a few times, or sometimes it was just a little too much, but it wasn't enough to make me hate the series and not want to read it. So I do still recommend it if you want some dystopian romance. But yeah, these are my recommendations for books considered love triangles, but in reality, when you think about it, are actually love points. But they're ones that don't annoy me and ones that I actually enjoyed reading. If you guys have any other recommendations for maybe actual love triangles instead of just love points, feel free to leave them in the comments, or even if they are love points, leave them down below because I personally enjoy them. But yeah, if you guys want to follow me on any of my other social medias, they will be linked down below, as well as on my home screen channel banner. Down below is also my Amazon wishlist. If you guys want to send me any books that are on there, I would greatly appreciate it. And also down below is my PangoBooks. If you want to buy mine or other people's used books, it's a cheaper way of filling up your TBR. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope that this gives you some new reading material, love point triangle-ness going on that seems to be fairly popular at the moment. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I love and appreciate you so much. Please stay safe, and I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet. Bye.